The Russian State Circus Company presents a documentary project, Animal Training Techniques of the Russian Circus. Art is never stagnant. It's always searching for new ways and forms of self-expression. This is right and proper, but it's no secret that some forms of modern art are not always embraced by spectators. It's impossible to imagine a Russian circus without animals. As you can't imagine, say, Paris without the Eiffel Tower. For the Russian public, a circus show without animals is no circus show at all. Hunting, trading and agriculture would never have existed without domesticated animals and their trainers. Let's just say that perhaps we have forgotten about the great contribution animal trainers have made to world culture. So now let's remember some outstanding Russian animal trainers.
Animals are the most important part of every show in the Russian circus. The artistic traditions can change, but we couldn't imagine any circus without animals. And, most importantly, our spectators couldn't imagine a circus without animals.
Nikolay Kapovic, hello. Hello. You're a very famous animal trainer, and we would like to ask your expert opinion. Who among the nation's animal trainers can Russia be proud of? My idol, when I began my career, was a star who's a role model for me even today, and her name is Irina Nikolaevna Bugrimova. Actually, I'm a student of Alexandrov Fedotov, another animal trainer who is also outstanding. Thinking back to the USSR, and now Russia of course, our most famous animal trainers are Margarita Petrovna Nazarova, the Durov dynasty, and Valentin Ivanovich Filatov. And I worked with such great people as Bagdasarov and Zapashny. Nikolay Kapovic, can you even imagine a circus without animals? Absolutely not. It all started with animals. Way back when the buffoonery show's tradition started, nobody knows when, they used dogs, goats, bears, and even roosters in their shows. Bears were also the most talented performers, very artistic. The entire animal training tradition in the circus started with bears because they're so human-like.
Originally, the Russian circus, like any other circus show in the world, was created as an animal show. In the beginning there were horses, and then other wild animals were added.
Later, when it was necessary to clean the arena after the horses, red clowns were brought in to entertain the audience between the acts. After that, tightrope walkers came along, also to draw the audience's attention away from the ring. And then, the last arrivals were the acrobats. Today, you often hear appeals to stop using animals in the circus. For instance, in Cirque du Soleil, there are no animal trainers at all. What do representatives of the traditional circus school think about this? They should call themselves something different. Perhaps the Du Soleil show, not Cirque du Soleil. Since ancient Roman times, all circus shows have had animals in them.
What they perform is a theatrical acrobatic circus show, but not a circus show in its traditional meaning. Besides the one in Moscow, there are 42 other circuses across the country, not including big top travelling shows. Spectators across the country adore the circus, and it's the animal shows that they really like. Children and teenagers would never turn up just to watch acrobatic performances. They wouldn't understand what a circus was without animals.
A curious fact is those people who promote the idea of the circus without animals have never taken care of any animals themselves. In most cases, they don't have pets at home, and they don't have any experience of taking care of and being responsible for an animal. They don't pick up animals in the street, and they have never saved an animal's life. Their homes are empty and soulless.
Леночка, моя умница девка, маленькая девочка хорошенькая. Давай скорее, на. Ай, молодец. Ай, какая киса красивая киса. Умница, такая смешная.
The Russian Circus has traditionally taught us to love animals, even in the concrete jungle of the city. And how do you build your relationships with your animals? Are they like family members for you, or just a job? They're like pets for us. We take care of them and train them. They love us back, and we feed them. Gradually, the animals get used to the routine, and then some elements of training appear, and after that, the real joint work begins. What is the relationship between a coach and his student? It's the same way with our animals. From the very beginning, you are their teacher. Right now, our kids are 9 months old, and they've just started their first grade. It is the beginning of their school program, so to speak. They begin to understand that here is a stool, and this is a beam, and this is what you must do to get food. I'd like to warn you, don't start working with animals if you don't love them. The animal should understand what your role is. The animal pays attention to the trainer to understand what they can do, to know exactly where their limits are.
No biting.
Most of us would probably be scared to death of being so close to such a large animal. You must admit that the profession of animal trainer involves considerable risk.
Of course, I have to be on my guard. Besides, I'm a woman, and I'm also a person who wants to live and enjoy life. But while we always have a little bit of fear, respect, we never panic. We've been working with these animals for many years, and we've achieved a very high level of understanding with them.
So, you're used to risk, you work with your animals, and you spend most of your day with them. But any performance involves artistic work, imagination, and creativity. How do you create your tricks? How do they come about? We watch animal behavior, and we think about what we see, trying to understand what they want to show us. Right now, I'm working with a young animal who shows me something unique and interesting every day. First, you see an element you can work with, then you add to it, and then it turns into something unique. Imagine you observe a group of children during their physical education lesson. Some of them are good at jumping, some are born sprinters, and some can climb up a rope well, etc. You can see the same in these cats. They are so much like humans. You can easily identify the gifted ones, those who can jump, those who can't, and as a result, you work to reinforce their abilities. Actually, in addition to that, many animals can show you their tricks themselves. The first golden rule: training should be based on the biological and physiological abilities of the animal. Obviously, an elephant cannot roll over on its own head. It just can't. So you won't see that in the circus. So everything in the circus is like with children. Everything is based on love and patience. But some people think differently. They imagine that the animal trainer has 3 choices: the stick, the carrot, and the stick with the carrot. Is this true?
There is practically no use of a stick. Only good practices. Only kindness. You just need to know their habits.
The process of training is the development of conditioned responses. But how can you develop a conditioned response in the animal if you don't know the animal, and if you don't have great and endless patience? That's the single most important quality of the trainer.
It all looks so simple, so easy. A tiger jumps upon a stand and then jumps from one stand to another. But in fact, it has to be explained to the animal. You need to convince it to do the trick. And nothing works better than a treat.
Everyone knows that the circus is more than just a profession, it's a way of life. The profession of a circus performer requires making sacrifices. What sacrifices do animal trainers make?
To tame an animal is actually a bigger responsibility than the responsibility of teaching a child.
What happens if an animal is sick and can't perform? What does their trainer do then?
I've seen some trainers sleep next to the cages. Say, for instance, an animal is sick. You'll often see their trainer right next to the cage, sleeping there, covered in blankets. They're on duty, looking after their animal as they would look after their own child.
Of course, I'm sure that not all animal trainers in Russia are like that. But the best of them are fanatically devoted to their job. They can't imagine their lives without this work. Recently, there have been many reports in the press and social networks about the hard life of circus animals. If everything is as good as you say it is, what's the reason for this negativity? In most cases, these articles and reports are commissioned by certain organizations that either do serious business in this field or are directly interested in promoting the idea of the circus without animals. Those who want the idea of the circus to be associated with certain well-established brands.
In all the years that I've worked in the circus, I've never seen people maltreating animals. I'm saying this not because it's on the record, but because it's the God's honest truth.
It's only in traveling circuses that they neglect the health of the animals. Professionals take good care of their charges. And what of the Russian state circus training? Is it humane? You aren't afraid of showing animal enclosures and what's happening backstage, are you?
No, I'm not afraid. On the contrary, it's all very safe. Now we've set up CCTV cameras in many circuses where the animals live, where they're fed, and we also put cameras in the halls. We offer our spectators the chance to come to our rehearsals with the tigers. You're welcome to stop by if you have 5 or 10 minutes of free time, so you can watch.
Just look into the shining eyes of children fixed on the circus ring. Where else can city children see animals and really understand that they are clever creatures? What would we and our children lose if animals disappeared from the circus? What did you like the most? I love the tigers most of all. I like the dogs. And if there weren't any animals in the circus, would you still come?
Yes, of course we have a few problems. It'd be strange and frankly irresponsible to claim that everything's always okay. The most important thing is that we realise a problem exists and then we look for solutions. The main goal is to improve the lives of the animals backstage and to create a positive environment for our favourite performers, our animals.
Some Russian animal trainers are recognized all over the globe as leading professionals. But none of them would get such fabulous results if they treated their animals only with their whips and sticks. It's only through love, good care, and true friendship that we get the chance to enjoy the most remarkable circus acts.